Hey everybody, Dr. Bob with Catalyst Chiropractic and Rehab, and today I want to talk to you guys about supplements, specifically something we call the Core 4. Now, the reason we call it the Core 4 is these are the four main supplements or nutrients that you're not really able to get with a reasonable change in your diet, right? So there are things that if you just eat some more fruits and vegetables, you can get them. There are other things that just can't make that up with how foods are processed these days. So that's why the Core 4 are so important. They fill the gaps. They help cover that 90% of things that are going to help the general population with it. And once you're taking these, get things moving, then we can assess, do you need additional things? What else we can do to help optimize from there? But it's important to cover the basics. Start walking before you start running, that type of concept with it. So what are the Core 4? So the Core 4 are made up of obviously four nutrients. The first one is your omega-3, so like your fish oil. Now, some people will take flaxseed oil or different smaller chain fatty acids, which people tell you are omega-3s, and they are technically omega-3s. The problem with that, when you get it from a plant versus an animal-based omega-3, is that the plant chains are smaller and our bodies are extremely inefficient or slow at turning the little chains into big chains. And what your body actually needs is the larger or the big chain fatty acids, which is the EPA, DHA, and DPA, which are the most important fatty acids that our bodies require. And those are the ones that have the heart health effects. They're the ones that help with the memory. Those are the ones that are anti-inflammatory, that a lot of the research has been done on, which is why so many people hear about a fish oil. Important things to understand about your fish oil or your omega-3 is omega-3 fish oils are extremely delicate or fragile molecules, which means they are affected by heat, temperature, vibration. Those types of things break them down, and then once they're broken down, they go rancid like any other fat. So you want to be extremely particular about where you get your omega-3s from. There was some research, this is fairly old research, they looked at it. 80% of the fish oils on the big box store shelves were rancid. And what that means is that they were rotten and no longer beneficial for it because of how they're shipped, stored, things like that. So you want to make sure that you get your omega-3s from a reputable place that has more control over how they're getting to them. We utilize Innate Choice at our office. We get them here, we keep them stored safely, things like that. So it's a very good product at a very good price as well, so we can check that out. The next supplement you want to talk about, it's important to get enough of, especially where we are here in Minnesota, is your vitamin D. Okay. Now most people are like, oh, I get in the sun, I get enough vitamin D. That can be true from June, July, and August. After August, because of the angle of the sun and where we are on the planet, our bodies are not as able to make vitamin D from sunlight. So it is important to make sure you're supplementing it all the time, but specifically anytime outside of those summer months. Supplementation guidelines vary. General rule is anywhere from 25 or 1,000 IUs for every 25 to 40 pounds of body weight. So for example, I weigh 250 pounds, so I would need somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 IUs per day. That sounds like a lot, keeping in mind that an IU is an international unit, which is a made-up thing to measure vitamins because they had to have something for it. So it's important to make sure that you are getting enough vitamin D. If you've had your vitamin D level tested with your physician as part of your regular physicals, things like that, you can be more specific. If your vitamin D level is 50 or below, you should be taking typically 1,000 IUs for every 25 pounds of body weight because you are below what's called substrate starvation, where your body does not have enough vitamin D to perform just its normal task, let alone the more optimizing effects of vitamin D. If you are at 50 or above, you can move your recommendation down to 1,000 IUs for every 40 pounds of body weight to help maintain that. But again, the lowest you want to be on a vitamin D level is going to be that 50 mark when you're looking at that test. Again, we utilize Innate Choice for that. The cool part is their omega-3 and vitamin D are combined into one capsules. So you get the 2,000 milligrams of omega-3 fish oil, which you're supposed to be having every day, in addition to 4,000 IUs of the vitamin D. So if you're the average 160-pound person, that's enough for you. If you're larger like myself, they do have some additional vitamin D you can buy separate to make sure that you're getting the appropriate level of that as well. It's in an olive oil, so it's very stable, comes in a 3-month supply. It's fantastic, so definitely want to check those out. The next thing we want to talk about is a multivitamin. Now I know what you're thinking. I take a multivitamin, or I heard multivitamins are a waste of money. Well, it depends. Like with everything, if you're buying the big box store one that's made with the cheapest nutrients and is this hard pellet that you take, yeah, you're pretty much flushing your money because those things are just going to wash right through your body. You're not really going to absorb it. The important part about a multivitamin is its bioavailability, or how easy it is for the body to process. The Innate Choice one that we use is extremely bioavailable, which means they don't have to overload the amount of things that they're putting in it because your body's taking up or absorbing more of what's there, so you don't have to put as much in because you're taking more of it in with it, with your body being able to absorb. Big things you want to look for with your multivitamin is you want to make sure that it is a non-synthetic. And what I mean by that is you can synthesize or create vitamin A and E and some of the other vitamins. The issue is that there is some research showing that synthetic vitamin A and E can actually increase the risk of cancers. The study I'm referring to specifically was looking at synthetic vitamin A and E and this cancer prevention of smokers, and they actually had to stop the study early because the people taking the synthetic vitamins were at an increased risk of cancer from that, which it was unethical for them to continue the study at that point. So super important to make sure that you know where your source is coming from, it's highly bioavailable, and that it is a non-synthetic. It will say that on there. It does cost more to be able to produce something like that, but it is totally worth making sure you're having the right stuff. And then the last one, important to talk about for the Core 4, is going to be your probiotic. Okay, so this is the good bacteria. No, you cannot get enough probiotic for a therapeutic dose from your yogurt, no matter what any fancy TV commercial is going to tell you. You'd have to consume over a gallon of yogurt a day in order to get a therapeutic dose of probiotic. Okay, which has all its own things to deal with. So the easiest way to do that is with a supplement. You're looking for 15 to 30 billion cultures a day. You want to make sure it is a multiple strand, so there are 7 to 9 different strands in the human body at a specific ratio. The Innate Choice probiotic actually has that all set up for you, so you can take it, a couple of capsules, get it ready to rock and roll. Other ways to get probiotic if you're not into taking capsules is fermented foods. No, not wine, not beer, but things like kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha, things like that are a good source of probiotics, but yogurt is a no-go on the probiotic part of it. It's just simply not true with that. So that's what we have for the Core 4. Like I said, we utilize Innate Choice, so you can certainly check their stuff out. They have a lot of good research at their webpage with it. But these are the key supplements that everybody should be taking. And like I said, this is going to cover that 90% of things to get the baselines covered. And from there, once you're sufficient in those, then we can look at what else you may or may not need as you're moving forward to make sure you're not only feeling good, staying good, keeping your immunity good, but functioning at your best life. So hope you guys found this helpful. Again, this is Dr. Bob with Catalyst Chiropractic and Rehab. If you guys got any questions, feel free to throw that into the comments. We'll do our best to be able to respond to those, or you can always reach out at the office. You can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, or you can check us out at catalystchiropracticandrehab.com, or you can give the office a call, 763-205-3781. We're always happy to help out. You guys have a fantastic day.